Hello chess friends and welcome to your of Chess channel and welcome to a beautiful spectacular gameplay by the latest version of Stockfish, the powerful Stockfish 16. Today we see the fish battling it out against another top engine Rubichess in Gotham Chess favorite opening. Today we see the fish playing the beautiful Trompowsky attack with the white pieces. Not only we'll see the Trompowsky attack, we'll see also the so-called poison pawn variation where you give up the pawn on b2 but then create many attacking chances all over the board. So in my opinion, very sharp attacking game here played by Stockfish 16. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. The fish opened with the move d4. Rubichess response was knight to f6, bishop to g5. We have the Trompowsky attack. The idea is clear. We want, of course, to play bishop to f6, double up the pawn structure on the f file, create structural weaknesses then in the position. We have knight to e4, bishop to f4, c5. We are now in, I think, one of the most popular lines. Stockfish continues with f3, and now Rubichess plays, I think, a very important move. Queen to a5 delivers a check, which forces basically here white to play the move c3. This move c3 weakens, of course, the pawn structure in front of the king, which makes queenside castling really hard for white, because in some lines you could then maybe go queenside castling and then go with a flank attack, g4 h4, g5 h5 and similar ideas. But now I think queenside castling would be very risky because you have already advanced the pawn. Of course now black has to make a reaction, but I think this queen to a5 in between check is really important for you to play when you face the Trompowsky attack. I play myself also this particular line. We have knight to f6 by Stockfish, pardon me, by Rubichess. Now there is a potential line with knight to d2, knight to b3 if c takes d4 happens, but Stockfish simply advances the pawn and wants, of course, play now a very healthy structure here with the move e4. Rubichess continues with queen to b6, hitting the pawn on b2. You could, of course, retreat here to c1 with the bishop, but I think it's a certain loss of tempo. Stockfish goes now into the most aggressive line, plays now the move e4, leaves simply the pawn on b2 unprotected. Rubichess accepts the challenge, takes out now the pawn. We have knight to d2, we have queen to c3, and now bishop to c7 is preventing now the queen to escape here on this diagonal. The black would love, of course, to play something like queen to a5 and then again maybe retreat with the queen. Black is having 2 pawns more, so here black is trying to have, I think, a solid position again. Wants simply to castle fast, wants to develop minor pieces, but of course the main issue that the queen is endangered here now on a weird square on c3. We have now the move b6. Also g6 has been played very often in chess history. G6 is actually even more accurate, I think, because after something like rook to c1 you have queen to e3, then after something like knight to e2 and d6, then knight to c4, queen to h6, I think should solve, at least for a while, many tactical and positional problems in black's position. But still, the activity of white is very hard to handle. This bishop is coming into the game later. Rook to b1 could be possible, preventing maybe some lines like b5, a4 also in some later stages is possible. Queen to b3 is also very dangerous. So although white is down 2 pawns also in this line, white has a good activity with the minor pieces and I think has enough compensation to attack the position. But here Rubichess played b6, wanted maybe to get again the queen to a5. Stockfish continues with rook to c1. We have now queen to a5 and now bishop to e5. A very tricky move here by the fish, because you cannot actually take the pawn on a2 because you get this one. Rook to a1 traps the queen. The queen doesn't have any squares to escape. All of the squares are taken. The queen is trapped. The game is over, I think, here for black. So that's why after bishop to e5, bishop to a6 was played by Rubichess, trying, of course, to somehow trade off the pieces. We have again bishop to c3, and again queen to a2 is not working because of this idea. Rook to a1 is also now trapping the queen again. The bishop is lined up here on the a file again. The game is over here for black. After bishop to c3, that's why queen to a3, knight to c4, bishop to c4, bishop to c4, and Stockfish has now this pawn protected. The queen is still misplaced, in the game, and white continues now the game with a beautiful and very, very sharp bishop pair. We have d6 by Rubichess. We have bishop to d2, a6, preparing, of course, to play the move b5. We have rook to c3, kicking away the queen, because b5 is coming in, and you have to now play very, very aggressively in order to prevent this move. We have queen to b2, and now a4. This is a new move. I would not say this is a theoretical novelty, but this move is really necessary. In chess history, knight to e2 has been played, then b5 came. Still, I found one game in the database in which white won also in this particular position, but here a4 perfectly fine, as I said, prevents simply the move b5 by black, and the queen is still misplaced. But let's see now, can Rubichess finally get the queen out of this tactical mess? So we have knight from f to d7 by Rubichess. We have knight to e2, g5, very important move, which gives here black the opportunity to maybe get the queen out, because if you play here g5, bishop takes g5, then b5 is coming, and after something like rook to b3, you could have this square then to escape with the queen, and I think black should be pretty solid here, although probably the position is a little bit splashing here on this side of the board, but the queen is finally out, and also the bishop is hanging, so we have to at least make a reaction now from white's perspective. So that's why after move g5, Stockfish finds the best way here, really a cool move. Stockfish plays the amazing e5, locks this diagonal. We saw that the queen is trying to escape on the score g7, and here Stockfish continues after move e5, and Rubichess played here b5. If you play here knight to e5, this wouldn't be good, because actually here then again the queen is trapped. You could maybe try queen to a2, now knight to c3, and then you have to give up the queen for two minor pieces. This is not working now. Also, this pawn is hanging, so I think again it's game over here for black. e5, really spectacular move. It's not allowing here knight to e5. So that's why b5 by Rubichess. Stockfish plays rook to b3. We have queen to e5. Finally, the queen is getting out of this mess, but now the queen is lined up against the rook on h8, and here Stockfish is, I think, taking over. From this point on, I think the game becomes a one-way ticket. We have queen to f5. The problem here for white is actually that you cannot take the rook. That was not Stockfish's plan. Bishop takes h8 is a suicide here, because after b takes c4, your rook is hanging. You have to now step back, and now after something like f6, black keeps the solid structure here. The bishop eventually will be taken. I think after a couple more moves, the bishop is trapped on h8, and also the c4 pawn is marching. I think the c4 pawn could be very unpleasant to handle. If you pick up the bishop on the h8, then black is actually continuing with two minor pieces against the rook. Has really, as I said, the solid dark square structure, so this is not a good continuation here for white. So Stockfish, of course, sees that. After queen to f5, plays first a takes b5, now knight to e5 by Rubichess. Stockfish takes, bishop takes e5, queen to e5, and now b takes a6. Look how Stockfish got its pawn back, a really spectacular way. Now this pawn on a6 is really unpleasant to handle. You cannot take, of course, because after bishop to a6, rook is coming into the game. You lose the privilege of castling. You have light score problems, so this attack is simply not working. So that's why after b takes a6, bishop to g7 has been played by Rubichess. Rubichess is finally trying to secure the king by castling. Stockfish continues with the beautiful move a7. Of course, you cannot take, because then rook takes b8 simply wins the game. So that's why kingside castling. And now Stockfish could take, I think here, a takes b8. Nothing wrong with this position, but Stockfish plays even a better move, rook to b7. This move is paralyzing now. The knight still doesn't have good squares to escape. d7 is taken, c6 is taken, a6 is taken. So Stockfish is not rushing to take out now the knight. Keeps simply the pressure also with his very advanced pawn on the a file. We have rook to d8. We have kingside castling. Again, Stockfish is not rushing. Knight to d7. Rubichess is hoping to get the knight into the game. And now an amazing move, a calm move, a quiet move here by Stockfish. King to h1. Again, Again, the fish is not rushing here because the issue is that we'll always somehow, even if you play here knight to f6, line up something on the b file, and then rook to b8 is a very, very dangerous idea to handle. In the game, queen to e3, and again, a beautiful move by Stockfish, queen to c1, forcing a trade of queens. Again, the knight doesn't have good squares. Even if you try here knight to f6, then as we said, rook to b1, and then rook to b8 is simply unstoppable here for black to handle, although you still have your knight on the board, but this position is game over for black. After rook to c1, we have knight to b6, rook takes b6, and now Rubichess took, rook takes a7, and obviously Stockfish is continuing the game with up a whole piece. This is not a good position anymore here for black. Knight to g3, rook from d to a8, Stockfish gets the f5 square. We have h5, rook from c to b1, bishop to f6, and Stockfish simplifies the game by trading off more pieces and plays now bishop to d3, lines up now the bishop against the king, and also is protecting the b1 square, because after rook to a1, Stockfish had this defensive resource. Rook to b1, rook takes b1, bishop to b1, and this game has reached now the fully endgame stage, which of course is favorable here for white. King to g8, g3, Stockfish activates the king, of course, simply gets it towards the center of the board, attacks now the pawn, gets the king closer, and now very important move, king to c4, which is not allowing, of course, the king of blacks here to have access to the c5 square. So this position is now, of course, completely winning here for white. King to c7, knight to d1, attack. Stockfish gets finally this pawn. We have here bishop to b3, f5, good move, which forces now a reaction by black. We have bishop to d1, h4, and after h3, in this particular position, the Rubichess engine resigns. So it's, of course, game over. We'll simply get the king closer, attack this pawn. This pawn can be always protected by the light square bishop here, so nothing can be done. It was fair sign, I think, here by the Rubichess engine. So great Trompowsky attack by Stockfish with the white pieces. Really dirty ideas, giving up 2 pawns in an early stage of the game. You saw in these types of positions the queen was always endangered, but Stockfish never rushed, didn't even take out the rook on h8. Pure beautiful calculation by the fish, in my opinion. Really spectacular Trompowsky attack. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas. Maybe you can surprise your opponent with Gotham Chess favorite opening with the Trompowsky attack. If you want to see more beautiful, spectacular, epic chess games played by top engine, check out our Comes and Chess Games Played by Computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.